AudieoVisual, and it's officially November. You know what that means. Blocktober is finally over, and I managed to participate in it every single day and get Superstar while I was at it. So I figured I'd talk about the event a bit and go over what were, in my opinion, my 3 best and 3 worst entries. Hope you enjoy.
And yes, I'm aware that it's almost December, don't even worry about that.
So here they are, all of my Blocktober entries from day 1 to day 31. Overall, I couldn't be happier with how this year of Blocktober turned out. I did participate in it last year, but almost none of my entries were submitted since I did all of them late, and to say the least, they were pretty bad. But this year I took it up a notch, so to speak. Every single day I submitted my entries on time, which very few people did, and honestly I'm kind of proud of it. That fact alone would have made me happy with this year, but I also surprised myself in another way. Now, I am no artist, especially not in Geometry Dash. I have never been good in art, and I'm okay with that, but for some reason, as you might have noticed already, is that there are literally no block designs here. For some reason, I made only art in GD for every day of Blocktober, which is so out of my comfort zone, but I did it anyways, and some of them even ended up looking kinda decent, which I can't quite wrap my head around. Thanks to this though, I think I'm a much better artist than I was when I first started. I mean, you know, still not great, but better, and I think that's a win. And I think you can really see that progression as each entry for each day goes on. This Blocktober, I also managed to meet a ton of sick creators who also participated, and it was awesome to see everyone improve alongside me and to see creators go absolutely ham on the event and completely destroy me. People like Judd, Rarewolf, and RNBW who each submitted every single day and every one of their entries slapped. To people like Snom, Kalemak, and Knots who didn't submit as frequently, but every time they did, it was an absolute banger art masterpiece from out of nowhere. I mean, look at this. This year had so many awesome creators that I got to compete with, and I'm so happy about it. Speaking of competition, the entries actually had a sort of ranking system. People would react to entries they particularly liked with a star, and when an entry got a certain number of stars, the threshold changed many times through the event, it would be placed on the star board, which was essentially the Hall of Fame for entries. I managed to get onto the star board a whopping 22 times during the event, which is insane to me, since getting onto it once was my ultimate goal for the event. I ended Blocktober with a total of 740 stars, and I managed to place 10th overall in the server for stars, which is, again, freaking crazy to me. I also actually won a day with my Nordic entry, which got 78 stars, which is my personal best. After the event had officially ended, I thought I had done everything I could have ever dreamed of doing this Blocktober, but somehow, I managed to get Superstar, which is the highest rank a participant can get. Oh my lord, that is still insane to me. So yeah, to say the least, this Blocktober was an absolute joyous romp. Even if I wasn't the most consistent creator in the event by a long shot, I still had an awesome time, and I hope even more people participate next year. I'd also like to say a huge thank you to Avakai for hosting this event and putting in so much effort to make it truly great. With that being said, I'm going to quickly rank my 3 worst and 3 best entries since that sounds kind of fun, so here we go.
3rd worst. Porcelain.
I don't even know what I was thinking with this entry, dog. I made an almost cool blue porcelain flower pattern, and then I apparently just thought it was gonna be fine slapped onto a textureless white circle. Looking back on it, I could have easily done so much more with this, and frankly, I'm disappointed in myself for it not at least making the circle look like a plate or something. But still, this isn't even the worst one.
2nd worst. Battle.
So picture this. You wake up from a sleepover, whopping 4 hours of sleep the prior night, and Blocktober Day 9 is wrapping up in a few hours, and you have no ideas at all. So, like any reasonable person would do, I hopped into a Tricipital stream and asked him what I should do, and this man replies, "Make Battle Rock Galaxy," and I do. Except I'm really not an artist, and this entry looks like utter garbage. That's how we end up here, with this abomination. I really don't have much more to say. It kind of speaks for itself.
Number 1 worst. Craft.
Picture this one more time. Day 17, craft is today, and you have people in your room installing heaters all day until literally 25 minutes before the day's deadline, and you have nothing done. You rush into your room and you create a paper fortune teller from scratch in 2 minutes and use that as a base for the Blocktober, which you have 5 minutes to create. I managed to get this one in literally 5 seconds before the day wrapped up, and frankly, it's just sad. I mean, look at this, man. It's just some horrid art of an origami fortune teller with a crummy gradient in the background. In my opinion, this is the worst entry I did all month, but also you can't really blame me since I had 20 minutes or something like that to make it. Anyways, on to the actually good entries.
Honorable mention. Motor.
I wanted to honorably mention this entry specifically since it was the most artistic entry of mine yet, and personally I think it turned out exceptionally well, especially considering it was only day 5. It's supposed to look like an alien motor, which I think it kinda does, but overall I'm still proud of this one. Not top 3 worthy, but cool for the time, I think.
Third best, 2000s.
This is one of the few entries that I actually sketched out beforehand, and I think it really paid off since I absolutely love the way this entry looks. I tried to go for like a Windows Vista-esque early 2000s gradient in the background, and I used a CYMK 3D cube as the focal point since that was a fairly popular color scheme in the later 2000s. I then added a ton of overlays such as CRT screen, some hazy lines near the bottom, some bright circles, low opacity flames for light static, and called it a day. And I mean, honestly, I love it. I think it fits the vibe really well, and even despite it being so early on in the event, I still think it holds up, which is pretty nice.
Second best, Orbit.
Orbit was the final day of Blocktober, and since it was, I wanted to go out with a bang. So I spent like 3 hours or so on stream making an absurdly complex 3D rotating galaxy with 1 star for every other day of Blocktober. I think the lighting on it is pretty cool, although personally I still think there's something kind of off with it, but I spent too long on it anyways, so I was good with what I had, and I still am. Oh, and we can't forget about Toe Birth.
Top 1 best, Nordic.
So I'm sure nobody's surprised, Nordic is what I believe to be my best entry. It's another one I built on stream too. I got a lot of help from chat, specifically Judd, big shoutouts, for texturing the mountains, which made it look way better since art was still way out of my comfort zone when I was making this. I also used ground spikes to texture the ground and use scaling to give it depth, which I like a lot. But of course, the main attraction here is the Aurora Borealis, which I still really like. The gradient in the sky here is probably the best gradient I've ever made, and that in combo with the pretty solid stars and really cool auroras makes this, in my opinion, my best Blocktober entry by a landslide. So that's that. It was a pleasure participating in this event as always, and improving as a creator, and it was so fun competing with so many great creators, and like I said before, I am honored to have been given the superstar rank. Thank you, Avakai. With that being said, look forward to this event next year. I hope you participate, but it's November now, so I'm gonna go caroling in the streets. Bye!